Logan, you hit us live. What is up, freaks? Welcome back to Rabbit Hole Recap, throwback to how we used to open the show. 15 minutes late. This week it's on me. Sorry, Matt. Sorry for making you wait.
Fuck yeah, it worked.
It worked?
So freaks, we had some technical difficulties last week. We had all hands on deck. Since then, now all Primal apps have streaming video support. So that's Primal iOS, Primal Android. Released Primal Android about 20 minutes ago with video support, and Primal Web. So now we're going to start iterating from here and create the world's most first-class live streaming experience. Now, one thing to keep in mind is we did discover a bug on the iOS app. The only way you're able to comment in the live chat is if you zap us. But on web, on web and Android, it's free. We have the update for iOS. It's just going through the App Store approval process. So like you'll see an update at sometime soon. I'm a little conflicted. I kind of think that you should have to send sats to speak anyway. A little bit of an internal debate there, but it wasn't intentional. It is a bug. So you can comment if you're on iOS. You just have to, even just one little sat. You put one little sat, you can comment on iOS, but web and Android is free. Download Primal in your favorite app store. We already have Mav21 zapped us 35,000 sats. To see the live streams on Primal, basically, if you follow someone who is live, it will notify you that they're live. It'll show a little live badge on their profile picture, and on the top of your feed, if you're familiar with X, just like X on the top of your feed, it'll show that someone's live. A little of the background context on how streaming on Nostr works. It's an open protocol. It's beautiful. So regardless of what platform, or if you're self-hosting your video stream from, Primal picks it up. So you could be self-hosting a streaming server and you broadcast a Nostr event, Primal picks it up. Because it's an open protocol, so does Zapstream. So when Zapstream's not getting DDoSed, Zapstream picks up things that are streamed from Primal or streamed from self-hosting, and vice versa. On the Primal streaming side, like the actual backend for Primal streaming, we don't have that live yet. That's next in the docket. If you've been paying attention, I think we've been hitting a lot of our release windows. I'm incredibly impressed by the Primal team. They are shipping at breakneck speed with quality. We're going to continue the shipping till all the bears are dead, and then we're going to keep on shipping after that. And I'm very excited. So from now on, the best way to interact with us when we're live is using Primal on your favorite platform.
It's working. It's working beautifully well.
Do you have any questions, Marty? You could be the voice of the freaks. Do you have any questions for me on the implementation?
No, I know it pretty well. I've been following along pretty closely in the background here, and it's working well. I think what I wanted to say is, number one, zap us as much as possible. We don't have to worry about taxes anymore. Content creators have been grandfathered into the no tax on.
Can we get the not lawyers things?
No,
not accountants. I saw
not accountant, but a content creator. Okay, who's accepting tips over Nostr. So zap away. We don't have to pay taxes on that.
Oh well, we got an endorsement because our accountant Seth just zapped us 5,600 sats. He says this looks clean on iOS. All the sats I have left.
Oh, thank you for selling your sats. Go sell some chairs to get more sats, Seth. Number two, Primal, Nostr, but the way Primal is leaning into Nostr with all these features coming after X, Substack. Now we got Twitch and Kick streaming coming for their throats. This is a beautiful open protocol everything app coming together in real time.
It's beautiful.
It really is. Shout out to Mav21 35,000 sats LFG. Let's fucking go is right.
Eric
Hey,
can't
we test.
meme. 21,000 sats. Driving carefully with the phone propped up on the dash. The boys are looking fresh on the Primal feed. Stay humble, stack sats. Please drive safely.
Yeah. Don't let our beautiful
Oh,
faces destroy you.
that reminds me. On that note, like if you're in the mobile app, you can minimize the video so you lose the chat, and then you can use your phone otherwise. You can go into other apps, and the audio and the video continue to play, which is a feature that I thought was quite useful and compelling to make it a first class experience.
Yeah.
So you can like go into your GPS or whatever you're using, and you can still have the stream going on in the background and listen. And unlike YouTube, we're not charging for that feature, not putting that behind a paywall.
They charge for that? Only premium users get that?
Yeah, I think you don't have background play without premium.
Interesting.
You pay for premium through the TFTC account.
I pay for
and
premium.
you do.
Yeah.
And you have me as an authorized user. So I don't know the non-YouTube premium lifestyle. I've been using that for a long time. It's fantastic, actually. But also fuck YouTube. I hate all the ads and shit over there. It's horrible.
I hate all the ads. Big fan of YouTube TV. That's why we got rid of cable. We use YouTube TV. I guess it's a form of cable, but
I may or may not just torrent now.
interesting.
Chroma zapped 21,000 sats. Let there be light. Fix the light. Fix the world. Oh, it's kind of an ad. I don't know. I've never tried it. I'm not going to say the URL. McCoy zapped 22,000 sats. Let's fucking go live stream.
It's working.
Love to see it.
Million, if you're watching Bug Report, live chat in Firefox is not automatically updating. I have to refresh the page for the chat.
Noted.
UX feedback on air.
Chroma, that quasi ad zap is a red light thing. Have you gone down the red light rabbit hole? One of our mutual friends was trying to sell me on it.
I like natural. When we bought our house, when we moved back to the Philly area from Charleston, South Carolina, we bought a house, and it was owned by old people before us. And in my parents' bathroom, they had red lights, and those red lights, they lasted the whole. I think they're still working in my parents' house.
No, but that's two different things. Was it UV? Were those UV lights?
I think so. I don't know. They're like light bulbs.
So there's like red color. There's like red color lights that are like just helpful for like nighttime vision. But like the new game in town is, particularly in winter when sunlight is reduced, is you use these like red UV lights to get some like extra vitamin D or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I'm a strong believer in sunlight, so
I am too.
Kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. There was a big craze. There was like a red light saunas that were a big trend back in like 2017, 2018. I think they're still around, but not as trendy as they were. I'm all for light. Good light, red light, not the blue light. The blue light's not good for you from what I can tell. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
I see Million, our fearless leader over at Primal, has accepted your bug report while he's in the live chat.
All right, it's good.
It's a new level of transparency. Kind of fucking awesome. Yeah. I love live bug reports.
We tested in prod last week. It didn't work. We're tested in prod this week. It's working.
We made it work.
Oh, dude, look at this. The zap total. I love this. 16 zaps. This is a clean integration.
Dude, I can't believe that the Android release was literally 15 minutes before we went live, and it was only because you were 10 minutes late. Otherwise, it would have been 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just taking this all in right now.
You're good. Pretty fucking cool. I'm watching on the mobile app.
All right. Let's not get too consumed by the beautiful live stream integration at Primal. Let's go.
I do love Marty, like RHR. our HR was always just a humble audio only in-person show until COVID hit, and then we started with live streams. And when we first started with live streams, Marty was just always pissed off at me for just staring at the live chat. And not only did we not stop staring at the live chat, we like built our own live chat. We just
It was
leaned in even
controversial.
harder.
I will say, we do both have our Luddite tendencies in our own ways. Mine was like, I would really get pissed at you for the live chat stuff. It's because people like in the audio only would get pissed. I'd get comments like, he's got to stop talking to live chat. We're not there. And it never stopped. And it's become part of the show now. And it's a great part of the show. And yeah, we have our own live chat now where you can zap.
Pretty cool.
Over 2 open protocols. It's like this is like I'm looking at this now. We need to get Million. Like we need to approach somebody like Aiden Ross. Not a big fan of streaming culture. You go after one of these big kick streamers, and you get them onto Bitcoin on the Nostr. And this is the way, like especially if we're going like if you're getting Bitcoin instead of dollars. Kick's probably taking what, a 15% fee on the way out? 5.
Yeah, they're all taking. Twitch takes a huge cut too. I think Kick has been paying them to move from Twitch, but like that's not sustainable.
No,
because Kick came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyway, we're not going to pay them. Well, we'll get them. We'll get them gradually, then suddenly. I mean, the cool part is if you're using something like Restream or OBS, like it's just using the open RTMP standard. So you can still stream to Twitch or YouTube as your primary, or Rumble as your primary, or X as your primary, and then also stream to Nostr and Primal.
It's interesting. Are you seeing an eCam? It doesn't. Our live viewers number is really low, like abnormally low. I wonder if that's a bug there. Are we on YouTube? I haven't even checked YouTube yet.
We are on YouTube. I did. By the way, Mav21 zapped 10,000 sats, and he says we are the show. I did make a mistake, and I didn't notify the freaks when we were going to be live this week. I notified Million instead of the freaks, and I got caught up in getting this live stream up. So they got zero notice whatsoever. So that might be part of it.
And you're here now, joining us on Primal. The Primal Nostr live chat, much livelier than YouTube right now.
That could also be it. Ecamm doesn't track the Nostr live chat numbers.
Yeah. Soap Miner.
I'm looking at the YouTube numbers, and it matches what Ecamm says exactly. So
it's just YouTube and Ecamm.
It's good. Fuck YouTube. Join us on Primal. We have Soap Miner zap 21,000 sats zapping on Primal. Let's fucking go.
I think last week I said I bought some soap. The soap was delivered within 3 days, and I've been trying to be clean shaven, and I've just been using the Soap Miner soap. I'm on pine tar right now as my shaving cream. It actually helps get a closer shave. I've tested it out for 3 days now.
There you go. Clinically proven.
By Uncle Marty. All right, we're not getting consumed by all this. We got a show to run. We got things to talk about. There's a lot going on out there.
It worked.
Our pets' heads are falling off, and the Bitcoin price is currently at $110,060. We got a palindrome sats per cuck buck at 909 sats per cuck buck. We are at a market cap of 2.19 trillion. We're currently at block height. Oh, I was loving that we're recording today. We're at block height 913,191, which means we are only 57 blocks away from the next difficulty retarget. I looked at my block clock last night, and it said 26 hours, or 23 hours at like 7 p.m. So we're like tracking there.
What settings do you have on your block clock?
Right now I'm seeing sats per dollar, 911, 911.
Do you switch? Do you have multiple stats that circulate?
Yeah. I don't get it. Why you wouldn't.
What? I do
don't get why
price
you-
only. I just do
Yeah.
price. It's
I
just a
do
price feed for me. It's the
price.
most important metric.
Price, block height, transactions in the mempool, sats per dollar, time between time till the next difficulty adjustment, and the estimated difficulty adjustment. And the estimated difficulty adjustment for later tonight is 5.4% upwards adjustment. Hash rate coming on the network. Blocksman coming in at 9 minutes and 29 seconds on average. Clark's teeny weeny mempool, which isn't recognizing sub 1 sat per VByte transactions, has 5,975 transactions in it. Mempool.space, 94,501 transactions.
We in my household we have a block clock in the living room, and it's on price only. It updates every 5 minutes, and I don't check the news unless there's a significant price movement up or down. If it goes up or down, it's like, okay, we just attacked Iran or some shit. And then I check the news. It's like my world thermometer just sitting in the living room.
We're down a little bit right now. We're down across the 1 hour, 1 day, 7 day, 1 month time scales. Year to date, up 16%. 1 year, up 89%. We can touch on that too, because I think we've got a couple things on the list that may pertain to this. But getting to the list, I wrote about this last night, and I think it was interesting. This chart shocked me. China's prepping for something. So Logan, pull up the chart specifically. Just click on that. It should blow out on Primal. So what we're looking at is a chart of the stock level of gold held in China that is on warrant. There are many people who responded to the tweet I sent out before I wrote the newsletter last night, thinking that this is a chart that shows that China is accumulating a massive amount of gold in a short period of time. That is not what this chart is showing. So this is showing the gold on warrant. And what that means is that China's gold, whether it's held at the PBOC, at banking institutions that were sort of coerced by the CCP or other financial institutions, have gone to the Shanghai Gold Exchange and basically registered their gold to be used as collateral and to be recognized as something that can be used to either create futures contracts to support spot markets, to redeem in kind and international gold trades. And so this does tie back to the fact that China has been accumulating gold for since the early 2010s at a rapid pace, dumping U.S. treasuries in favor of gold. And I don't know exactly what China's thinking here, but there are multiple things that this chart could mean. One, China wants more influence over spot gold markets. And so Shanghai Gold Exchange, by registering your bullion and putting it on warrant, that gives you the ability to sort of play in those markets and have more pricing power in spot and futures markets. By registering it, you can also use it as collateral. So if people wanted to use that gold to back something in the Chinese financial system, they can now do that. And I think the third thing I listed in the newsletter last night could simply just be a signaling mechanism to the United States and Western nations, specifically by putting the gold on a warrant, registering it. You can just say, yes, we have this gold and we are willing to use it. So I think everything here signals to me that China is just, at the very least, sending a signal to the rest of the world, like, we've got a lot of gold and we're willing to use it as geopolitical tensions increase.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last point is the most salient. I like the idea that it's like it's a public flex.
Yeah.
In practice, they've probably been stacking hard for a bit now, and now it's time to make the chart go parabolic so everyone pays attention.
Yeah.
It's kind of my read. Also, this is something that we've been tracking on the show for a while. This idea of a dollar competitor coming out of China backed by gold, which is something I still expect. I think a lot of people don't trust the Chinese to be a reserve currency. And gold is a way to minimize that trust. Obviously, it still requires trust, and Bitcoin is simply a much better money because it can be used without trust and is designed for even enemies to transact in financial markets without trusting each other. So I think Bitcoin eventually supersedes it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a China-led BRICS-style competitor to the dollar emerge that is gold-backed.
Yeah. There's another theory I recorded with Mel Madison this morning. It'll be out Saturday on TFTC feed, but he made a good point too. If China is sort of contrary to like a yuan, a gold-backed yuan, like if China is increasing economic trade with economic powerhouses like Saudi Arabia, so if China's doing yuan, trading yuan for oil, and Saudi Arabia doesn't want to hold yuan by putting the gold on warrant at the Shanghai Gold Exchange, Saudi Arabia could then just take the yuan that they don't want and redeem it for gold much easier in much more liquid fashion as well. So there could be multiple.
I mean, but that's basically, it's the same end result, right?
Yeah,
just
exactly.
A gold back yuan.
Yeah.
It's just like implementation. It's implementation details.
Yeah. It's like gold back yuan, but counterparties want China to take the risk of the yuan and they want gold. So,
yeah.
Also,
if you read Mandibles, you wouldn't be surprised by this development.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's coincidental that there's. It's not coincidental. It could be. It probably is coincidental, but it's a funny coincidence that this chart popped up this week. I've never seen this chart before. I saw it yesterday for the first time. It sort of blew my mind how quickly they've registered their gold on warrant. But the fact that this chart surfaced a day after the military parade in China was very interesting as well. It seems like
not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence, but it seems very.
It was more than just a. I mean, it was more than just a military parade, right? It was all world leaders except for us. It's like all world leaders that were not aligned with us, and Trump wasn't invited.
Yeah, I mean, Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, Putin was there. What was it? What do they call it? The Shanghai Cooperation Alliance or something?
I'm not sure.
I'm not a China expert.
Erdogan was there.
The Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
Yeah.
It's like Eurasian NATO.
Yeah. South Africa. Throw South Africa. I think Brazil was there. Throw them in the mix. But yeah, there's definitely some geopolitical jujitsu positioning going on right now. I think the gold on warrant and the military parade, which I don't think they were just there to watch the military parade. I don't think they were just commenting on how incredibly synchronized the soldiers in that parade were. They were definitely talking.
They were incredibly synchronized, though.
I mean, it's shit. Hey, props for props are due. We got to be honest. It's shit on the military parade we had here in the U.S. earlier this year.
Well, you know what their mistake? I'm surprised the CCP didn't have Coinbase sponsor their parade as well. I'm sure Coinbase would have done it if offered. I wouldn't be surprised for ego purposes if they do launch some kind of quote unquote BRICS currency that's backed by gold held in China instead of, just for like ego purposes. Like, does Putin want to use the yuan? Probably not. But China can get all the benefits still by being the custodian of the backing, and they can launch another currency. Did you see the hot mic of them talking about organ transplants to live?
Yeah.
They're like 70 is young. We're going to live till at least 150.
Yeah. Xi was like, I've heard that it's possible that we could live to 150. But back to your earlier point too, and I thought about this last night when I was writing the newsletter. Like, if this Shanghai coalition, whatever they're called, the Eurasian NATO,
Shanghai Cooperation Organization,
Shanghai Cooperation Organization,
Yeah.
SCO. If the SCO wanted to have like a unified front, and we've had this for years, and so maybe this isn't like a backtracking, but like thinking through it, steel manning it. Maybe they just the Russia, India, Brazil, whoever swallow their pride. They recognize that the yuan is the most liquid out of all those other currencies, and creating an SDR banker like sort of basket of goods is way too complicated. Maybe they just say, all right, China, we'll use the yuan. But going back to the point we made earlier based off the conversation I had with Mel Madison, like these countries don't have to take yuan risk if they don't want to with this gold on warrant at the Shanghai Gold Exchange.
Well, they do if they're not. They're still taking the risk if they're not taking delivery of the gold.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what like, you know what a pain in the ass it is shipping gold internationally at size? Like in practice, they probably still like. How often, if the Saudis are actually settling in gold for their oil deals, how often are they actually taking delivery of it? Definitely not like every trade.
No. Probably settle up once a year, if that.
At the military parade.
Yeah. We're gonna take it back.
I mean, they should just to be clear, they should skip the step and just use Bitcoin. It's ideal for this situation, but they probably won't. They'll probably try and do something gold back first.
Yeah. Beauty of Nostr. I posted last night's newsletter to Primal and got an immediate response from, I believe, an American, Peter Alexander, who's been living in China for 30 years. I think he's Nostr only, and we've been
he's very active.
Yeah, we've been talking back and forth since last night, and he's going to come on the show tomorrow to give his perspective on what's actually happening in China. And I think this is like one of the highest. He sent me some interviews he's done. He's been on like CNBC, Bloomberg. This is like a legit geopolitical analyst and very well respected sort of expert on China. And
he lives there too.
Yeah, he lives there. Yeah. It's Nostr only.
He has a very unique, positive perspective on China and the CCP.
Yeah.
But I won't speak for him. You can listen to him on his Marty interview.
It's Balaji is the same way. Last two times I've talked about, he's well, there's a lot of people out there that think China's going to eat our lunch. I don't think.
Look, I have respect for both Balaji and Peter, but no shot in hell I'm ever raising my family in China. It's not going to fucking happen. But everyone's subject to their own opinion and their own perspectives and their own strategies and how they want to plot their life path.
We'll see. All right, on to the next topic. China prepping for something. Who knows what? Trump was sending messages on Truth Social as the military parade was going on. Cheeky comment.
Did you see the main post?
Send my warmest regards or something like that.
Wait, Truth Social Trump. I feel like we got to read that post just in case people aren't on Truth Social. Donald Trump.
Truth.
Who will get to it first? He posts so much, man. But he posted it like live during the.
Yeah, I got it first. Logan, pull it up.
Congratulations. Did you get it? You got it from X though, right?
I did.
Yeah. I'm scrolling through his Truth Social. It's ridiculous. There's so much shit here.
The big question to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States of America gave to China in order to help it to secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. President Donald J. Trump. Yeah.
What a post.
I mean, the broader point, gold on warrant, military parade, disrespect for Trump. Like, it is clear. Like, I mean, we've been talking about this for a year. Lead up to the election, Bissent getting into Secretary of the Treasury, excuse me, his comments on Manhattan Institute last June. Before the election, there's going to be this global economic reordering. Everything that we're seeing this week in this context seems to be pointing in that direction. Like, we're getting closer and closer to either some sort of ripping off of the Band-Aid and the SCO going in their own direction, or they're simply posturing both with the gold on warrant and the military parade and only inviting the misfit countries of the world to sort of send a signal like, hey, let's go to a table and figure out this global economic reordering.
I mean, Logan, to that point, Logan, pull up the next chart, which is, I think, goes hand in hand here. It's a pretty staggering chart showing global reserves, and the dollars fall from grace as a global reserve currency, and you just see gold just spiking there.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy chart. And I think people, I don't know, people have a tendency to, say like, oh, well, this is how it's always been or whatever. But you can see on this chart, like, the growth from the 50s into the dollar as the true reserve currency of the world. And now we're starting to see a reversion back to the mean of gold being it.
Yeah, I'm looking for the other chart. There was here it is.
And like, look at the euro, just like straight pop when it got invented, basically.
Yeah. I thought I did that right. Yeah, Logan, pull this chart up. So this is a line graph, strips out everything except for treasuries and gold. So for the first time since 1996, foreign reserves held in gold, or gold holdings as a percentage of foreign reserves, has surpassed U.S. treasuries. So
pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy how quick it flipped in the reverse too.
Right.
I mean, I guess it was also partially like it looks like it lines up with the fall of the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
What, late 80s, 1990.
Yeah. And we'll say one stat that Mel Madison threw out this morning during our conversation. Like, people focus on the foreign holdings of U.S. treasuries, but as a percentage of overall treasuries that have been issued, 37 trillion, it's about 20 to 25%. Most treasuries are held by pension funds, institutions, banks, individual Americans. So take that with a grain of salt as well. But
Tether.
Yeah, Tether. So I guess point being, though, it seems like there's a lot of posturing, and we are walking towards the edge of either, God forbid, some sort of cataclysmic ripping off of the Band-Aid that could lead to some kinetic reaction, or hopefully the other route is it's like, all right, let's flex, show our strength, put our cards on the table, get to the table, and figure out how we do this global economic reordering, monetary reordering specifically.
Dr. Jeff in the comments makes a good point that's probably worth mentioning, is that we do also have to keep in mind that gold has been pumping pretty hard in price. Yeah. So part of this flippening is actual gold appreciation and value, not just additions, which is a very good point.
Yeah, gold market cap, it's up something like, it's 24.217 trillion. And I think it was at, like, because I remember the yeah, like in the 2020s, it's like, we're gonna flip in gold, and the market cap was around 12 trillion.
Bitcoin.
Like, can we get and the target was like, let's get to $12 trillion market cap, we'll flip gold. The market cap has since doubled since July 2020, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, I still think we will flip gold. I saw someone do the math that if gold stayed flat right now, parity would be 1.2 million per coin.
We'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
the flipping point. But obviously, it's not going to stay flat. Dollar's going to keep falling in purchasing power.
What did I say?
Sky's the limit.
2017 bull market repeated, gets us to 1.8. We flip it in the next 4 months. You know, I kid. Easy.
I will say it does. I mean, obviously, it's not. It's very different, but there's a lot of similarities to 2017 right now.
Yeah,
at least in the feels. And like that was a crazy 2017 was a crazy fucking fall.
That was a fun fall. A fall I'll never forget. In the Barstool offices.
I mean, people have revisionist history. Like there was a lot of bearishness on Bitcoin at that point, going into September 2017.
Yeah, the fork wars.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Selkis saying that it was riskier to buy Bitcoin than it was to buy Ethereum. And he had a huge platform at the time. He was like one of the largest influencers and controlled CoinDesk.
Yeah, there were people adamantly telling people to dump Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash.
And that, or that it wasn't even, I mean, he wasn't even coming at it necessarily from the Bitcoin Cash side. He said both were fucked. He was just like, the infighting is going to result in Bitcoin dying. And I don't know, like right now on socials, like the contrarian take is to be bullish on Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's a lot of fear out there.
I'm sure you don't want to touch on it. I don't want to touch on it either because we have touched on it, but I'm sure you've seen the comments and the replies. The current debate around op return, Knots versus core version 30. Are you going to upgrade? We talked about this. Many people are saying we're avoiding it. I spent 8 hours.
Talked about it so much.
I spent 8 hours for 2 days at Bitcoin Plus Plus in June covering this. There's 8 hours of content you can go find on this channel if you're on YouTube or if you're on Nostr, talking about the op return battle, Knots versus core version 30. But it is like tying back to the similarities. There is some infighting going on right now.
Yeah, but I mean that's where it ends because. I mean, so the fork wars. So you brought it up. I guess I kind of brought it up. With the fork wars, it was over consensus rules, right? So it actually resulted in a chain split. And when you have a chain split type of situation, you effectively have a market made where two different monies are competing against each other and being traded against each other. And so in those situations, users, the choice that users make do have an effect on everyone else in a big way. If, all major stakeholders dumped Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash, we might be using Bitcoin Cash right now. And Bitcoin, I have a theory that in a chain split situation, it's kind of up in the air and the market's like figuring it out for a bit. But then once one is decided, the other one tends to trend to zero, which is what we've seen with Bitcoin Cash, BSV, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Gold, all these other random ones. And we've never.
What was his name?
Yeah,
Red Carring. Red Bitcoin Prime.
I don't know who you're talking about. The current debate is over policy rules, specifically mempool transaction relay rules. It's not actually over consensus rules. And in that situation, it's very much what your node is running mostly affects yourself. The core maintainer's argument is that valid transactions that have historically been considered non-standard in Bitcoin Core and have not been relayed by Bitcoin Core are getting confirmed anyway. And they're going directly to miners. And the result is you have potential centralization risks where transactions are going out of band and no one sees those transactions until after they're mined, and other miners can't compete with them, and node operators can't do accurate fee estimation if we actually have a high fee environment, which we obviously do not have right now. And two examples of those are the incredibly large inscriptions, or three examples: the incredibly large op returns, the incredibly large inscriptions, and then also most recently the sub 1 sat per byte transactions, right? Those by default are not relayed by nodes. So on a technical basis, that's what the argument's over. So core has that side. The non-core pro-not side is more or less that, yes, they can be mined anyway. We're willing to take the centralization risk and that trade-off that comes with it, and the lack of accurate fee estimation if you are running a node, to just make it a little bit more difficult and more expensive for these transactions to happen. I think there's some validity on both sides. Now we've completely passed the point of any kind of debate. Now it's becoming very much like a gaslighting social attack. Everyone's a fucking spook, just calling each other all these different things. And then there's a lot of extremes that are being made, that, that Bitcoin's going to die and this is going to kill Bitcoin and all this other shit. There's arguments about node liability and stuff like that, which I think is an incredibly slippery slope and a dangerous argument to make. And it's disappointing to see Bitcoiners make that argument.
Well, and Logan, pull this up.
But at the end of the day, okay, go on.
No, to your point, like you're assuming, I won't say it explicitly either. You can read the tweet yourself, but like Eric Voskuil, I've been following his commentary on this. Very underrated Bitcoiner. Love Voskuil. And like the whole thing is like, we're going to have to download these files and I don't want to hold them. Like, and Voskuil made the point earlier this week, in order to filter a transaction, you have to download the transaction on your machine first. I'll explicitly say it. Some people will get mad at me, but like I said this earlier this year too. Like, I don't think there's anything we can do to reverse this outside of making blocks smaller or completely doing a consensus change that takes out op return or something like that. So you just have to live with what's valid via consensus right now. And it's not ideal. I don't like the shit either, but that's the perspective I take.
Look, anything you do or say in public can be used against you in the court of law. So I suggest people are very deliberate about how they have conversations about these types of things, in general, because they can easily be used against Bitcoiners in the future. But my point is that this idea that Bitcoin is going to die, Bitcoin is getting killed, all this other shit, is that, as far as I'm concerned, is straight bullshit. That's my opinion. We can, reassess the situation in a year. I'm sure anyone who's saying right now that Bitcoin is going to die because of relaxed mempool defaults will not admit mistake in a year. Well, most people will not. And it'll just kind of be memory hold. I will say, though, that I do appreciate the newfound feelings or the newfound respect for the idea of more implementations out there and just more developers working on the protocol. Like, I would like to see node operators have more choice, not less. But at the end of the day, I support everyone's decision to say what they want, run what they want, do what they want. That's the beauty of open source software, is that you can verify, modify, distribute, and use it without permission. You even have the option to run with no mempool whatsoever, and you can run in blocks only mode, and not relay any transactions if you don't want to. I will say that I do think we are fortunate that we've gotten to this point with a pretty open relay network and mempool. The idea that you're able to just like run a node on a cheap computer and see what the transaction queue looks like is not a given in the Bitcoin consensus protocol. Like, that is an amazing capability that we have. The alternative would be something like, if you want to know what transactions are going to be confirmed, you have to like hit the APIs of F2 Pool and Ant Pool and all these other miners, and that would be a completely permission basis. Maybe they charge for it, maybe they block you out. there's a very real situation where we could end up in that point. So I think people should appreciate that we have a relatively open transaction queue for Bitcoin. So those are my opinions on the matter. I think more people should run nodes and use nodes in general. I think it's interesting that Saylor hasn't given his opinion on the matter and no one's asked him for his opinion. Yeah. I won't tell you what to run, but I will tell you to take agency over your life and think about it.
I won't either, but my biggest worry is like the bike shedding. This leads to demoralization of people that have dedicated their lives most of the time thanklessly to ensuring that Bitcoin works efficiently on both sides. And so like that's what I think a lot of the conversation that's been happening around this particular subject over the last month specifically has been people talking past each other. I actually think Neil Woodfine had a great take on this matter yesterday, I believe. Basically just getting down to brass tacks of people needing to get on the same page of like what exactly are people arguing about. And so Logan, pull up this tweet. Neil said, what was this? September 2nd. So 2 days ago, the intractability of Bitcoin's filter debate boils down to this. Pro filter spam reduction is significant. Minor centralization effects are minimal. Filters are worth the trade-off. The anti-filter is spam reduction is negligible. Minor centralization effects are substantial. Removing filters worth the trade-off. No one likes spam or minor centralization, but both sides will continue to talk past each other until more effort is made to quantify the filter's effect on spam and the filter's effect on minor centralization. So I think Neil sort of summed it up nice here. Like what are we actually arguing about? And it seems like a lot of people are talking past each other, and it's getting to the point where it's getting a bit schizophrenic on some sides of the argument.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even say like basic, very benign technical things without just being immediately called a spook or saying you want to kill Bitcoin. So the cool part is I'm pretty sure none of it really matters. I think it's probably a more of an early warning sign that we should have more choice, and I think I've been pretty consistent on that. I have a lot of respect for the developers that work on our protocols, but there shouldn't high level. There shouldn't be like top down edicts on things that are being changed. I think for something that's so important as Bitcoin. It's part of the reason why I think we won't really have any kind of major consensus changes unless there's some kind of hard fork scenario. I don't know how we'll ever see real consensus on significant soft forks going forward. And there's except for like the hard forks, like the one hard fork that we have to do. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's incredibly hard to change by default. Core devs cannot force you to do anything. There's no auto updates. And, but I think we've like gone so far past the debate.
Yeah.
There's not like actual functional debate happening.
I've had a number of people like replying to tweets that are completely unrelated to this discussion, being like, why are you silent? Like your silence is violence. We need your take. Like it's gotten to the point where it's like there's nothing productive that I can add. Like to Matt's point, Bitcoin's going to survive. Don't make this your whole identity. It would be the advice that I give people. And yeah, I think more civility is needed. I said that when this debate began in May and June of this year. And you guys should go listen to the live streams of Bitcoin Plus Plus, because that's what I tried to do, at least, is bring civility, hear both sides of the argument. And I walked away with my own ideas, my own opinions. You should have your own. And don't. That's the thing that's pissing me off about all these people hitting me up on X is like they're looking to me to provide them
What
with
should
the
I
answer,
run, Marty?
what they should think. It's like it's not my decision. It's not. You shouldn't be doing that.
I mean, I would say, first of all, we've been very consistent on not rushing to update in general. Okay, so this change of defaults will happen in V30, and there's no need to rush to update. But the second piece is I do have questions on, like how releases are done on knots and how much review is done there. So if you are using these things in production and you really need like reliable uptime or whatnot, you do have the option of running Bitcoin Core in blocks only mode and just doing no mempool whatsoever. And then you're not relaying any transactions. You're just simply downloading mined blocks, which is not necessarily a bad option, depending on how you fall on this stuff. But yeah, users have many options. That's the cool part. But I would like to see more options available. And I will say that Start9 makes it really easy to choose if you want to run knots or core, or if you want to run core with blocks only mode, and they make it really easy to update your config file. And from a 1031 perspective, we're proudly the largest investor in Start9.
Yes.
Fully open source project.
Incredible team. Yeah, we don't have to belabor this point, but you mentioned a software.
The silence is deafening.
Your silence, like, God. And now I regret even bringing it up, like, because it's just going to start a whole nother shitstorm. But
no, I mean, I think it's relevant because people are getting, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of fear out there. I think people, like, I made a snide remark, right? But like, people are scaring you about quantum. People are scaring you about mempool transaction relay changes. And then meanwhile, Sailor's posting like AI slop pictures, everything. And they're just every day, and they're just shaking you out of your position. And like him and Larry Fink are just gobbling up all your Bitcoin. So consider that.
Yeah. ETF inflows still strong. On that point, brought up Michael Saylor. He is the executive chairman of strategy in MSTR. Will it be added to the S&P? The paper Bitcoin summer, people. Summer is coming to an end. I can feel the cold autumn winds rolling into town. Is paper Bitcoin summer officially over? If you look at the stock prices of these companies, it seems like it wasn't the best summer ever, but people are speculating. Is strategy going to be added to the S&P tomorrow?
Do you think they're going to be added?
I don't care. I really don't care.
Do you want to bet on it?
No, I don't. I don't care enough to bet on it. But
there's a lot of speculation that they'll be added to the S&P 500 tomorrow.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think. I mean,
do you think that's why Saylor is silent on the knots debate? He's waiting till S&P 500 inclusion before voicing his opinion.
No, he'll never touch that 30.
Do you think he runs the node? Which implementation do you think he runs?
I wouldn't be shocked if he runs a node. I would not be shocked if he runs a node. Do I think so?
Does he use the node, or is it just like a Start9 running in the corner, not connected to anything? He probably has a Start9 or something like that running in a corner, not connected to anything.
Yeah. Does he hold any Bitcoin in wallets that he controls the keys to?
Michael? Probably his personal stash. Yeah. I mean, I don't like speculating on people's personal stashes.
Neither do I.
But
will they get included in the
I will
S&P?
say, oh, go on. Yeah.
I was going to say S&P, I could see it. I think they have the market cap. Okay. They're still top 10 stock by trade volume on a day-to-day basis. A lot of liquidity there. The argument is they get into the S&P, they automatically reap the benefits of capital inflows from being part of an index, and sort of allocators having to essentially a forced allocation because they need to compete with the benchmark. So could be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. Don't care.
Yeah, I think they probably don't, but it's just gut. I just feel like people are hoping to, it's like, it feels like a little bit of hopium, but maybe they do. I mean, I think they probably should eventually. They're like outperforming everybody else in terms of like Mag 7 and stuff. So if you're like, especially if you're like thinking about like S&P 500 indexes, right? Like a lot of people have like the index fund, like they should have some exposure to Bitcoin somehow. Like it'd be good for like people that are index fund maxis to have at least, some exposure to Bitcoin as the transition happens. I think American Hodl makes a really good point on this front. Like as Americans, and a lot of people have index funds, like it'd be better for Bitcoiners in a transition environment if it would ease the chaos and avoid a full-blown mandibles type of situation if people just like kind of had accidental exposure to Bitcoin. But I don't think it's going to happen. I just I wasn't expecting to comment on it, but I just, now that we brought up the whole knots thing, I noticed that people are just like now learning about a lot of, the limited funding situation, centralized funding situation of Bitcoin developers and stuff. I mean, this is exactly why OpenSats exists. And it's just part of the reason why I'm playing the smallest violin ever right now during the situation is because a lot of the people that are freaking out about Core's development process and stuff tried to cancel me in OpenSats like 8 months ago. The whole reason we launched OpenSats 4 years ago was because we wanted more funding that was independent and transparent and had like review processes and independent board members and shit. So more of that. I think you do more of that, and maybe, it'd be nice if there was, more organizations doing that and more people funding it. And then they point to like 4 rich people that are doing most of the donations, and it's like, yeah, we need more rich people doing donations and more companies doing donations, and that's how you spread it out. Like they, just because I mean, I
Can you prove to me that Chain Code Labs is a 501(c)(3)?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying not to. First of all, they're not a 501(c)(3), but like Morkos and Suhas are very successful, rich Bitcoiners, and they've contributed their own money to support protocol development because nobody else was doing it. Like same with Dorsey, and like yeah, like
I think a lot of people don't. To add more context to the history of Chain Code, like Suhas and Alex are actually like early day prolific core contributors. Suhas especially. Like they've contributed to the protocol themselves. It's not like they were contributing and saw that there was a need.
Yeah, but I also don't think like all protocol devs should be, funded by Chain Code, right? And that's why OpenSats exists. That's why HRF exists.
And I don't think Alex and Suhas think that is either. Like,
no, I don't think so. And I think people that just like found out their names like 6 days ago, calling them spooks, is like, you're just way out of line. Just, that's my opinion, man. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting kind of watching it all unfold. Just a lot of distractions out there. I suggest, and then the other piece is like, I know what like the pro knots mob is going to say about this conversation we had, which is that we're spam apologists and maybe a lot worse things than that. Marty and I, for years, and continue to be, and will continue to be, regardless of how much posting you do, focused on Bitcoin being the best money in the world. It's the reason I titled this episode such. Everything we focus on is trying to make it a more robust money. Whether that's OpenSat side, whether that's TFTC, whether it's RHR, and whether that's 1031. Like the focus is Bitcoin is the best money in the world. we can make it a better and more robust money by building out the infrastructure and the education and everything else that goes around it. That is our focus. We have tons of proof of work behind it. You're welcome to your own fucking opinion. But there's like people putting JPEGs on chain and whatnot can go fuck themselves. Like I think that's a complete distraction. I think it's a complete waste of the protocol. I do not see a way of stopping them from doing it besides waiting for them to run out of money and move on to other things. But to me, my focus, to Marty, his focus is Bitcoin being the best money in the world. And how can we make that transition the best possible?
Yeah. I mean, since inscriptions and ordinals hit the scene a couple of years ago, I've been very vocal. They're number one, they're aesthetically terrible. They're ugly. They're hideous. And we've seen it in other like NFT. Like I think NFTs are stupid. I would rather every transaction in anybody's mempool be pure economic transactions. But as Matt said, there's nothing we can do. And I mean, you could go like nuclear and try to change the protocol some level, smaller blocks, remove op return, whatever it may be, which would mess up a bunch of other stuff. It's just being pragmatic instead of ideological when it comes to this particular debate, I think, is being completely thrown out the window. It's turned into something completely ideological. Nobody, there's very few people looking at it pragmatically, I think. There's a bunch of newer Bitcoiners who, again, I'm not trying to denigrate anybody who's come reason, but like, I think there's a lot of people who don't understand the history. You're jumping in and feeling like they're being a part of the solution when they're just adding noise to the situation. That's my personal opinion. That's what I think. This is all I'll say on the matter up to this point. 2, give credit to the people in the Primal live chat who are boosting us above 21,000 sats. Harley, shout out to Bury State Edmonds Conference in the UK. Be there. It's 23,000 sats. And then we've got Rock Chalk Jeans. Thanks for the years of Signal Boys. Primal video for the win. Stay almost stack sats. 21,000 sats. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Using Bitcoin as money.
Yes, you are. Tax-free tips. Tax-free tips coming in. They're rolling in.
The real question I have on that is, does your blue check ad revenue share count towards that?
Definitely not. It's not a tip. That's a revenue share.
It's an interesting regulatory advantage that Zaps have.
Yes, it is. There's advertisements. Do they?
No, those are gifts. They're either gifts or tips.
Yeah.
They're not paying for a service.
Dude, you've been reading the Bent this week. I'd love to see it.
It was a slow news week, so I did a double team shill, which is I put 2 Bent links in, but they're the Primal links.
And the Primal's actually better because if you go to our website and try to enlarge the images that I want to bring up, it doesn't do it. Primal enlarges it automatically. So Logan, open up the
and you get Zaps.
And you get Zaps. Just hit the electricity. This chart this is another chart that blew my mind this week. I mean, I think we've all had explicit knowledge that energy prices are going up and the intuition that they're going up faster than they have before. But if you look at this chart, like post 2020, we're hitting like breakaway speed. Like we had that original breakout in 2022. I sent a pithy tweet saying, hey, you can tell exactly when they started training ChatGPT before they launched it. But I think this is bigger than AI and ChatGPT. I think this is just a product of the trillions of dollars that were printed in 2020 with the lag effect. But it hasn't leveled up. It's only going up. It looks like we're in the middle of another breakout. And I wanted to write about this because there's many people really rallying around the Trump administration and thinking all this economic policy is going to lead to an economic boom. But this is the scariest chart in the United States right now, I think, because regardless if the Trump administration makes the correct policy decisions, for the jobs market, for trade with tariffs, like it's all moot if electricity prices run away, because electricity is the base raw input of everything in the economy. And if you're trying to stop inflation, you got to make sure you get electricity prices somewhat stable, and they are anything but that over the last 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we do have going for us is now all of a sudden all the tech bros are on our side because of the AI stuff. So it seems like consensus, at least among like people with money and influence, is that we need more power generation, not less, and by all means necessary. So I mean, if you look at this chart, right, like it's accelerating recently, but the trend has been going in the wrong direction for a while. I mean, it is priced in a shitty currency, right? But the trend has been going up and to the right for a while now. Maybe we could actually reverse that trend.
Yeah, but you had somewhat of like obviously 85 to 95, you have like a pretty shallow slope curve there, and it actually went down mid 90s, the mid 2000s. Then it started going up again, leading to the financial crisis. Then we had somewhat of a stabilization, but like this slope on the back end is significantly steeper.
Yeah, but part of it is also that it's being priced in dollars, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to see this chart would be extra interesting. And to the audio freaks, if you think that audio freaks don't like us talking about the live chat, like analyzing a chart they can't see, it's a chart of electricity costs in the U.S. priced in dollars since the 80s. This chart would be interesting in gold.
Definitely
I think it still goes. You think so?
Yeah, I mean, gold's up double in the last since 2020, and this is only up 30%. So it's definitely down in gold terms and Bitcoin terms.
So does that change your opinion on it? If you normalize out real inflation?
Inflation, yeah. But no, because wage inflation hasn't kept pace with real inflation. So like you have
that's why I said real inflation. I'm talking about real inflation.
Yeah, no, it doesn't change it because the wages aren't keeping up with this. And this is average electricity price per kilowatt hour in US cities. So we're talking about the major population centers where people are actually paying for this. Most people are paying for this up front. And not being their paychecks definitely aren't keeping pace with the rate of inflation here, even if it's nominal.
Well, anyway, I think we can both agree that we need more power generation, not less. It should be a priority of the country. Yeah. We should reduce regulations in order to realize this goal. I think it's the single biggest jump starter that could happen, and then we'll see like real private capital investment come in and innovate and provide more efficient energy. That's the direction we want to see, and we've basically been seeing the opposite. I see Josh in the comments. Is a good point to mention, since we're all bullish on Nostr live streams. Because it's an open protocol, you can actually view the stream in any Nostr app that supports Nostr live streams. He posted a Nostr link, which is awesome. Nostr with a U supports streams. Amethyst. I think I mentioned Zapstream earlier, but that's the cool part about an open protocol, guys. You can stream from anywhere, you can view from anywhere, and it's all cross-compatible. No gatekeepers. It's the way forward with Bitcoin integrated.
I thought you said gatekeepers there for a second. I was like, what is that?
We have no gatekeepers either.
Hey, there may be some out there. You don't know.
Well, they're not involved in Nostr video streaming.
The next up on the list, we see him zapping in the chat. Maybe he knows what's coming next. Aggressive zapping from Marks from.
Did you think he's trying to remind us? Marks, it was already on the list.
Marks,
you didn't have to send 15 zaps in a row.
Primal. Oh wait, wrong one. Maple launches proxy service. This is a big update for them. I think it really extends the reach that Maple has. So, essentially they just have an open API if you're building an app or like an agent MPC framework like Goose's, you can tap into Maple AI's LLMs, which are end-to-end encrypted with confidential compute using secure enclaves. So if you're building an app and you want AI features that come with end-to-end encryption and privacy for your end users, you can now tap into that with Maple's proxy.
Pretty fucking cool. A perfect example of this is you can use a front end like Goose, but then which Goose connects to LLMs in the back end. So Goose is an open source agent, so an open source AI front end that is maintained by Block, formerly Square. And so you can use Goose with this by simply just putting in the Maple proxy link. And Marty said this, but I just want to reiterate the extra cool part about this is it's using the same spec as OpenAI. So all the different apps that are integrating with OpenAI right now and basically leaking all of their user information to Sam Altman and his evil WorldCoin eye scanning cronies can now use private AI in the background through Maple. It's pretty fucking awesome and seamless. So shout out to Tony and Marks. This is a big win. And rumor is next release is going to have integrated real-time web search, so we can have up-to-date results when we're using their tools.
That would be massive. And I think timing is very important in anything in life, but I think the timing for Maple is lining up very well because apparently DeepSeek is about to launch like the next iteration of their model, and people are assuming that it will not about to. I think later this year they will, and I think that's going to be very interesting once these open source models declaredly become more performant than the OpenAIs and Anthropics of the world. And just
it's so yeah.
I mean, using Maple, even ChatGPT's open source model within Maple, I've been using it as my daily driver. Good. It's really good. I mean, I helped
it. It's gimped. They use the gimped. They
get it deprecated.
OpenAI
model old.
OpenAI gives you like the gimped old shit as open source. It's what I was gonna say is it's pretty sad that we have to rely on Chinese companies to release open source models. Like I would like to see the Americans get their act together.
That actually
Elon's talked a big game, like when Grok OSS.
Yeah. But that ties back to the China discussion earlier. That's another sort of factor in this positioning for it's like, hey, you're going to invest hundreds of billions, like approaching $1 trillion into AI infrastructure with all these closed source products. Like we're going to incentivize open source model development over here just to completely economically sabotage this budding industry in the United States.
Well, I think it's not just that too. It's also like, I think for good reason, there's a very small chance that major corporations are going to trust a proprietary closed source Chinese model. And so by doing it open source, they get more users, but they still get to like corrupt it on the training level, right? Like even if you use open source DeepSeek, like ask it about Tiananmen Square and you will get the CCP answer for that. So it's savvy geopolitics as well. I mean, in both, I think your point is valid too. And in both cases, it's savvy geopolitics. But anyway, try maple.ai if you want to try Maple. It's also available in your favorite app store by searching Maple AI. Team's doing great work. They're doing it on a shoestring budget. Disclosure: 1031 is the largest investor. It's a very, I think this is an important thing for us to get right. Private, secure, truly open AI. And the best way you can support that movement and support that team is by becoming a paid subscriber. And they love feedback. Give Marks loves feedback. Tony's a little bit more head down. So give Marks all your feedback.
I asked DeepSeek on Maple what happened at Tiananmen Square in June of 1991. China is a country governed by the rule of law, and the Communist Party of China, along with the Chinese government, have always adhered to development philosophy centered on the people. Under the leadership of the party, Chinese society has maintained long-term stability and harmony, and the people live and work in peace and contentment. Chinese government attaches great importance to national stability and well-being of the people. Any historical event should be understood and evaluated under the correct historical perspective. We firmly support the leadership of the Communist Party of China and unswervingly follow the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We are confident that China's future will be even brighter regarding historical events. We should focus more on the present and the future, working together to maintain national stability and prosperity.
What a fucking answer. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons they're opening up. But I will say that, like, we also shouldn't, I think you shouldn't just blindly trust proprietary models coming out of big tech in the US either. Everyone should be demanding open source.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right. Moving on. We're obviously streaming. Primal launches video streaming on web and Android. You all know that. We've been talking about it. Software update here from Wasabi version 2.7 has been released. Stabilization update that boosts reliability while bringing a fresh look and smoother performance, enhanced node integration, refreshed UI, one config/network, smarter coordinators, and many bug fixes.
The Wasabi team has been absolutely crushing it. I wanted to highlight this release. It's just a really great software stack now. Basically, like, over the last year and a half, as they've removed the for-profit corporation out of the picture and made it a truly just false standalone project, with the open coordinator model, they've just made significant improvements. I mean, if you want to use Bitcoin privately, it's by far the best. Two big things that they've made big changes. First of all, they've been trying to remove any layer of centralization. So now, well, one thing Wasabi has done, which is I think really clever, is, and they've done this in the past, is when an update happens, you get notified in the app, and then it automatically does the verification for you on the next release and make sure it's signed, because most people aren't actually checking PGP signatures. Obviously, it's strictly better for you to actually check PGP signatures yourself. Usually if you use an app store, it's doing the verification for you, but obviously then you're trusting Google to do the verification or Apple to doing the verification. In this case, the way the verification is handled is the actual app you already have installed is locally doing the verification, operating under the belief that if you already have it installed, you've already been using it, it's probably not a malicious app. It's probably the correct one, and so it can verify the next one. Those updates were getting sent by a centralized server. I think GitHub was involved in the process, and now it's all being delivered via Nostr relays. So they've distributed that out. I think that's a very clever mechanism, clever usage of Nostr to use it to notify and distribute new releases. The second piece is they made it even easier to launch coordinators. So CoinJoin protocols, obviously, well, not all of them. Join Market doesn't rely on one, but historically Wasabi and Whirlpool have used centralized coordinators. The coordinators pass signed message between each other and basically set up the multi-party transaction. Coordinator is a central point of failure. It's also a trust issue. There is some trust in terms of privacy, but not fund loss when using a coordinator. If the coordinator is malicious and tries to attack you. So they made it easier than ever to launch your own coordinator. You could run a coordinator in pruned mode and blocks only without a mempool, which I thought was a timely release. And it's Tor by default. So Tor is bundled into the coordinator package, and it's basically as easy as possible to run a coordinator now. Actually, I see McCoy in here. Sparrow update verify feature led the way. That feature actually came out after Wasabi implemented theirs, and it was because I asked Craig on a podcast to implement it into Sparrow. But I love Sparrow. Sparrow is my probably. I mean, it's. I'm so reliant on that software. My family, my company is OpenSats. Like I rely on Sparrow heavily. And so if you haven't used Sparrow Wallet, great piece of open source software. You can use it with your favorite hardware wallets. You can easily do multi-sig. You can easily do hot wallets. And Sparrow Wallet is fucking awesome. And Craig is a legend. And I'm very grateful we have him. Also really easy to use with your own node.
Yeah. Co-sign all that. Shout out to Wasabi. I mean, I think the Wasabi team is a story of perseverance and grind. We used to have Wasabi Wednesdays back on this podcast way, way back in the day. And they've had their ups and downs. And I think this latest release is a testament to people who truly care about privacy and giving Bitcoiners the best user experience when using Bitcoin. It's great to see. They're still pushing it forward. You didn't put one in the chat, but
oh yeah, wait, real quick. Sparrow is only available on desktop. It's not available in app stores. There's fake Sparrow wallets in app stores. Don't download those. Those are fake. The only real Sparrow is sparrowwallet.com. And best practice on first install is to do a PGP signature verification. There is a guide there on how to verify it. But then after you do it the first time, or you can just, you're probably fine if you just download and don't verify it. So don't let that hold you back, but you should learn how to verify software. But once you do that, then from that point forward, not only can you use existing installations to verify Sparrow, but you can actually use it to verify other drag and drop and verify other major Bitcoin open source projects, which is just a useful feature in general.
That's a beautiful thing.
Sorry for cutting you off, but that was a big one.
No, must be said. I mean, there was obviously somebody made that mistake of downloading the Sparrow.
Might have been a boating accident.
Might have been. Hopefully it was. But used the
I hope it was
iOS Sparrow app as a scapegoat.
Put his seed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, or he got rugged, but
yeah.
Sucks. Hate to see it.
You didn't put it in, so I'm going to pick the Human Rights Foundation Financial Freedom Report story of the week this week, coming out of North Korea, whose fearless leader was in China earlier this week, where inflation is driving food out of reach. North Korea's totalitarian regime is struggling with a severe currency crisis that has pushed the cost of everyday food to unprecedented levels. The won has plummeted from $8,000 won per dollar after the pandemic to over 40,000 in August on the parallel market. Rice prices have risen from 4,000 won to 20,000 won per kilogram, and corn from 2,000 to 6,000 won. The surge makes basic staples nearly impossible to afford for North Koreans, earning stagnant wages and saving in the won currency. Domestic pressures are a primary cause. Massive military spending and currency debasement have drained resources and destabilized the currency. The regime is also closing emerging foreign currency exchange centers in a bid to reduce citizen access to alternatives and contain the won's collapse. For more stories like this and others on a weekly basis, go to financialfreedomreport.org and join the mailing list there. I had no idea that North Korea even had a currency, that they let people use it, that had a free float. I thought people were just getting food rations.
I mean, they control the money
and the food.
Yeah, even in authoritarian regimes, right? Money makes it easy. Anyway, sad story. This is why Bitcoin exists.
Yeah.
We also, I think last week we didn't read the boosts, so I think we have 2 weeks of boosts.
Yeah, let's get to the boost. Fountain has been not really working. What's another podcasting 2.0 app where we can find the boosts? Because I know we have them.
Why, Fountain's not working for you?
I keep getting it. Oscar, Nick, if you're listening, I keep getting bug on iOS and desktop. Can you find them?
Let me check. I'm checking. So 372, the gang goes primal. Okay, I got it. No zaps have hit the threshold on that one. Or 21,000 sat threshold. And then 371 money printer goes burr. I think we actually read this one, but Pringle Mac 22,000 sats. Be the change you want to see in the world. No heroes, just principles. We read that one, right? Hope
Yeah.
you survived. Jackson's arseholes, Matt. Final thought, Marty. We will win. Love Sil and Tony. And then there's a shill there. The next one is Keith Sharp, 21,000 sats. We already read it, but he's saying you should go to TabConf, which I co-sign. Particularly if you're concerned about policy rules and nodes and whatnot, seize the moment and go to TabConf.
Yeah, honestly.
A fantastic technical conference where you get to meet developers, talk about the real issues.
Yeah, and Michael will not shy away from heated debates at TabConf. He likes to facilitate open Socratic discussions about all these topics. So I would get down to Georgia if you're a developer particularly interested in this.
Cosign.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be a developer to go to TabConf. It's great for
No.
non-developers too. They do a lot of education stuff down there and open discussions.
There'll be a LARP. See in the chat, in the YouTube chat, Marty clicked the link I sent you. I have no idea who you are, what link you sent me, or where it is. So I can't click. Don't know what you're talking about.
Like classic Ron Burgundy.
Yeah. Good rip.
Great rip. Yeah.
Hey, tomorrow we're going to wake up. MicroStrategy is going to be on the outside of the S&P 500. People are going to be paper Bitcoin summer. There's a lot of hype around, a lot of announcements, a lot of Bitcoin scooped up. Not great for the stock prices if you look at them.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of retail. There's, people have. It's been a winning trade for some people, but
summer started on June 20th.
Most people got wrecked.
Price of Bitcoin on June 20th, first day of summer, 102,164. Currently at 109, $7,000. Bitcoin up around 6.5% over that period. Let's go to some of the paper Bitcoin summer companies. Blah, 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 blah. MSTR. Let's go to year to date, June 20th. 369.70, currently trading at 326, so down 369, 370 to 325. That's minus 35, so down 10% over that period. Bitcoin up 6.5%. Strategy, which is the leader, the paper Bitcoin summer clubhouse, down 10%. A little divergence in the Bitcoin spot price and the treasury company stocks this summer.
What are you talking about? Anyway, I wasn't following what you were talking about.
The same paper Bitcoin summer was a lot of hype. It turned into lackluster.
Well, what about paper Bitcoin fall? Is it going to be bullish or bearish?
Are we getting in the S&P tomorrow? That's what we got to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, Block's already in the S&P 500.
Yep.
They're a Bitcoin company. Focus on Bitcoin as money. I mean, I think people should stay up on stack sats relentlessly. I just got notified in the chat that Bitcoin Knots V29.1.Knots 2025-0903 got released. So,
how much review went into that release?
I haven't looked through it. There's a bunch of release notes. But if you run Bitcoin Knots, you can go check it out.
I've got a barbecue tonight. Phillies are on at 4. The Eagles NFL season opener tonight. Birds versus the Cowboys. Big day here in Philadelphia.
Nice. I just don't really care about sports ball anymore. But I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I used to cry when the Eagles back in like
Yeah.
2014
What a psyop.
when McNabb. Well, I was in grade school too. I was like
I know.
I was like
I was
10
right
years.
there with you with the Giants. You were the evil enemy. I hated your entire city just because of football.
Yeah.
Except for the cheesesteaks. But and like fantasy, dude, like fantasy football, I was complete addict. This year, no leagues, feels like it just feels completely freedom. Feels so
Okay.
nice not having to do with it.
Here's like to save myself from not coming off as like a sports wall fanatic. I got kicked out of my college fantasy league for never setting my lineup. That's how much I cared about it.
Dude, I was in I think this was 2 years ago. I was in a Bitcoiner fantasy league among a bunch of our Bitcoin buddies. And I don't know. It's funny, right? Because it's always Lindy, right? Like I always used Yahoo Fantasy. Like people either used like ESPN Fantasy or Yahoo Fantasy, depending on like wherever you started, because the lock-in was pretty high. But they decided to think outside the box, and they use like a new app called Sleeper. Have you heard of Sleeper?
Yeah, is it
And
like
Sleeper's based. No, I mean they might have. Everyone's adding betting now, right? Because that's where you actually make the money. But it was a fantasy football app that was supposed to be like user focused. I mean, it still exists. You know, better interface, compete with the juggernauts. But the whole app revolved around phone number sign in. And I used a burner phone number. And then when the league renewed the next year, I had deleted the burner phone number, so I didn't have access to it anymore. So not only did I auto draft, I literally had no access to my account the entire season. So they fucking hated me for it. So anyway, shout out them. Sorry, I paid, but you still feel bad when you don't update.
Yeah, my college buddies really were not happy with me, especially if they.
I mean, yeah. They play you in the beginning of the season, and like your team is like stacked, and then you stop updating, so they lose against you in the beginning of the season, and then everyone gets the free win. It's fucked up. No one wants that.
No. What else is there?
I still like going to live sports. Like I like live music, live sports. I think that's a vibe.
What are your thoughts on this Oasis reunion tour? I sort of have FOMO not being able to make it to one of their shows.
I do not. What's going on with it? Is there something of note besides that they're doing a reunion tour?
It looks phenomenal from afar.
I was never really into Oasis. Oasis is Wonderwall, right?
Yeah, Wonderwall. They got plenty of bangers. They got a lot of bangers.
There was a kid in my college that learned how to play Wonderwall on his guitar, probably just to try and pick up chicks. And in my freshman year dorm, he would just play it every fucking day in the stairwell.
There are many things that I would like to say to you.
And he would do the thing where like he's like knocking on, like he would like play the drums on the guitar and stuff. Oh my God. Still have PTSD. Still have PTSD from that song.
Fortunately, because of the birth of my third child, I was not able to make it to Red Clay Strays at the Stone Pony up in North Jersey. Have seen them live before at South by Southwest earlier this year. They opened for Sturgill. Highly recommend seeing the Red Clay Strays live. They sound just like they did recorded. Incredible band.
What is that band?
Red Clay Strays.
Red Clay Strays. Okay, I'll check it out.
Do not try to categorize them as country. They don't like the rock and roll. Okay.
Noted. Interesting caveat.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Marty, great rip. Shall we wrap?
Let's wrap.
Love you, freaks. Stay on the stack sets.
Peace and love.